Hi, everyone. My name is Dr. Vicki Johnson. I'm the founder and director at ProFellow, and I have a very special guest today to interview regarding her experience on the School Innovation Fellowship sponsored by the Mind Trust. This is a special fellowship that takes K through 12 school leaders and gives them the funding and resources and support to launch great schools in the Indianapolis area. And today I wanted to interview one of the former fellows, Keeanna Warren, to learn more about her experience leading up until the fellowship, during the fellowship, and just also to gather some application tips about this really unique fellowship program. So Keeanna, thank you so much for joining us today.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
I'm going to share your bio to begin. So Keeanna is a passionate educator, and she is the Associate Director of the Purdue Polytechnic High Schools in Indianapolis and South Bend. And she is an advocate for all learners, evident in her experience. Keeanna started in elementary school teaching 5th and 6th graders in the Lawrence Township, then moved to connect adult learners with skilled work and opportunities at the Excel Center in the Meadows neighborhood of Indianapolis, before becoming leading the students and staff at the Purdue Polytechnic High School North. She's motivated to continue this work until every learner has access to quality education. Keeanna earned her bachelor's degree from Purdue University and a master's degree in teaching from Marian University, where she was part of the Turnaround School Leadership Program. She is scheduled to complete her doctorate in school administration this spring at Indiana State University. All right, so thank you, Keeanna. I'm so excited to talk to you today because this is a very unique fellowship opportunity, and you're sharing the excitement with your fellow, because this fall of 2022, applications are going to be open again. So we want to hear all about this opportunity. But first, before we get into the fellowship, let's talk about your background. Please tell me about, how did you enter the field of education, and what inspired this from your early childhood onwards?
So I wanted to enter the field of education because I really had an interest in making a impact in areas that really mattered to my community and the folks around me. Whenever asked who my favorite teacher is, I always say my mom and my dad, who I see parents as the first teachers. And my parents actually were teachers in various ways, not necessarily in the traditional sense, but and my mom actually taught pre-K and third grade for a couple of years, but they were just really great examples, and that was always an inspiration to me. And throughout my entire life, I had this passion for justice and making sure that everyone had access to high quality education. And so that's really where the love of learning and education came from, especially as I got older, seeing the disparities that happen, and understanding that a lot of people's zip codes will determine the quality of education they get. And I just knew that wasn't fair, and I wanted to do my part to help and support high quality schools.
Awesome. Well, I can see the trajectory here. So you were then, and now later, you were a Mind Trust School Innovation School Fellow from 2017 to 2019. And I do want to get into the details of the experience. But first, tell me a little bit more about how your career in teaching led to the fellowship.
Well, I started teaching 5th grade and did a little bit of middle school math. But I also had an interest in high school, and just naturally a love for learning and a love for all the subjects. And so one summer, while one of my friends that I went to grad school with asked me if I would come on board with him, he was a school leader at the time, to teach at this really cool adult high school. And I was like, no, I really like working with younger kids, and that's really where my passion is. And so then he called me later and said, hey, we need a sub for the summertime. to teach one of our classes. Can you just come in and do that? Do me a favor. And I was like, sure, I'll come in. That sounds like a great opportunity and something to do during my summertime. So I went in and I absolutely loved it and ended up staying. And within a year was promoted to be the school leader there. And that just led me to just really enjoying that opportunity. I love the impact that we're making. The students were telling us that we were providing just a beautiful educational environment and the second chance that they always wanted. But students would constantly say to me, if I had more teachers like the teachers here, if I had a principal like you, I wouldn't have had to finish my high school education later in life. And so that always gave me, that always stuck with me, that feedback. And that's really what encouraged me to think about what happened before the students came to us and needed that second opportunity for a high school diploma. And it really drove my passion for wanting to create a school environment that provided students what they needed so that they could be successful within their high school career and beyond, because what that lays the foundation. So that's really what led me to the fellowship.
Fantastic. So tell me now about the Mind Trust Fellowship. What was the thing that first inspired you to apply to this opportunity? What were you hoping to get out of it?
Well, I think to really launch a great school, you need the time and the space to really plan out every single detail. Running a school is just the same as running an organization from, like a back office perspective and just make compliance, all the things that need to happen in order. There's so many things that go behind the scenes in creating an excellent school. And the fellowship provided an opportunity to really just be able to plan, to learn from those who had the experience before. And the fellowship that the Mind Trust offers is just world class, and nothing. I haven't seen anything quite like it that provides so much support, so many resources, and just the opportunity to really focus on creating the best educational opportunity for the students.
That's great. And what did you do during that first year in the 2-year fellowship?
So the fellowship allowed me an opportunity to apply for some grants. So it gave the support and the time to make sure we were presenting, that I was able to write and submit really high quality grants. We wrote the charter during the first year, and I got an opportunity to visit high quality schools, both in the United States and outside of the United States, which was a very special and unique opportunity. I got to be a part of a cohort and who were in the same or similar stages that were also creating new schools. So I got to learn from them and alongside them. And the benefit of that cohort model, we got to meet once a week. And so we got professional development during that time that we were meeting, but it was also an opportunity to collaborate and to get feedback from people who were in very similar situations. And that was extremely helpful.
Oh, neat. Tell me, what were some of the countries that you had the chance to visit during the fellowship?
So our first year, we got the opportunity to go to England. And we were in Manchester and London, and it was really cool to see the differences and how schools were performing and how they looked in, the city versus Manchester, where it was very different. That was really nice. And then the following year, we got to actually go to South Africa, and we got to spend some time in France before traveling to South Africa. So that was an outstanding experience.
Oh, that's incredible. And I mean, maybe I don't know if this is in the first and second year, and then also tell me about the second year of the fellowship. How did that build on the first?
So the second year was really when things were ramping up as far as you select your facility, you start hiring staff, you start buying furniture. So all of the things, you build your budget, all of those things happen. But that first year really gave you that planning. And then the second year was that implementation. And we were authorized by the time we authorized by our charter authorizer by the first year, but that second year we really worked closely with them on our pre-opening checklist to make sure we were hitting everything that needed to happen prior to opening our doors.
I mean, it sounds like there was a real benefit to having that full year of planning and networking before getting into the really hard administrative work of getting the school open. So that's really interesting. And tell me a little bit about, this is really a fellowship that's cultivating leaders. What did you learn about yourself and maybe your leadership style during this period of the fellowship?
So I think the fellowship really helped me hone in on the leadership qualities that were leading to success and dive deeper into those. And so I had, from my previous leadership principal role, I had learned and gotten a lot of feedback that I was really good with creating culture and did a great job of making staff feel empowered. And so during the fellowship, we got to do 360 evaluations. And so I was able to look at how the folks that reported to me previously, how my supervisors, and then how my peers viewed my leadership. And so that was really helpful. And one of the things that I learned and grew in during the fellowship was better understanding restorative practices and better understanding how to do them in a way that is sustainable for staff, students, and the community, and in a way that would get the results that we need and make sure that students were in the classroom learning at all times. And without the fellowship, I wouldn't have had the opportunity to receive that high level of professional development, which helped me train my staff. That first year, we became trainers in restorative practices so that we'd be able to use the train the trainer model. And none of that would have been possible without a year to plan that, because restorative practices are very powerful. They increase outcomes, especially for historically marginalized populations. But it takes time to really be trained in it well. And that made a solid impact on our students the first year of operation and beyond.
Oh, that's awesome. And as we're thinking about this fellowship, I am going to include with this video in the article, the eligibility requirements for applying. But what would you say are the types of work experiences and qualities that they would be looking for incoming fellows? What kind of backgrounds, are they coming from, and what sort of qualities are they bringing into this fellowship?
So I think the biggest quality is to have that entrepreneur mindset of I'm going to be creative, I'm going to be innovative, I'm going to do what it takes to get the job done. A record of raising student achievement, because you can create or launch a school that has really fun ideas, cool furniture, a nice facility, but at the end of the day, it's about getting the outcomes for our students. So that's a really important piece. And then someone who has good ties with the community, someone who can communicate well, and someone who has a track record of leading teams well. You don't have to come into the fellowship with 100% knowledge on finances, budgets, HR. You get support with that. But I really think it's that mindset of understanding that all kids deserve access to high quality seats and can and will learn when provided the best opportunities, and just that flexibility to be able to pivot as needed, and the understanding that roadblocks will happen as you're creating a new system or new organizations, but a track record of persevering despite obstacles.
That's great. And for those of you who are watching this video or reading, and you're seeing yourself as someone who might be a good candidate for this fellowship, listen up, because now I'm going to ask Keeanna, what are your top application tips for people who are applying to the fellowship, especially this incoming year of, in 2022, 2023?
So the Mind Trust team is fantastic, and they are open to questions. They're open to two-way feedback. So I definitely suggest anyone who's completing the application to attend the office hours, attend the meet and greets, attend the opportunities to learn more about the fellowship. And I always see interviews or opportunities as two ways. It's a partnership with the Mind Trust. You want to make sure that it works for you and for them. So that's an amazing part of it. And I think it's really important also to understand some of the dynamics of Indianapolis and of the city. So I would really suggest that if you're coming from outside of the city, to make sure you do your research and understand the ecosystem. And I would encourage people that even if you're not sure if you want to do it or not, I would still get connected, attend the information sessions, because it's an opportunity that is just literally life-changing for students, for staff, for all the stakeholders involved. And I say you miss out on all the opportunities you don't go for. So I would say just go for it and learn more.
Thank you for those tips. I'm going to make sure to link here all of the opportunities to register for the upcoming open houses and happy hours info sessions that they're offering, because I think they're even a great networking opportunity, even if you are not ready to apply for the fellowship this year, something you want to keep on your radar. It's just a great opportunity to meet people like you and other school leadership in the Indianapolis area. Actually, which brings me to another question. If someone has never lived or worked in the Indianapolis school system, what are some things that might be surprising to them, or what do they need to know?
So it was a really great opportunity because during my fellowship time, and this isn't the same every year, but there happened to be more people from outside of Indianapolis or outside of the state of Indiana who relocated for the fellowship. And some of the things that they shared were surprising is the disparities that exist in Indianapolis schools. We have a large opportunity gap that we are working really hard to close, but there's a lot of opportunity there. Our students face a lot of trauma. I think because Indianapolis isn't quite the largest city in the United States, I think people underestimate some of the challenges. But I also think people, one thing about the city is we have beautiful parks. We have really strong tight-knit communities who start to feel like families. We have some amazing school models that exist. So there's so many opportunities for beautiful partnerships. There's several resources and organizations that are aligned to do this work. So there's a lot of support that exists. And there's just a lot of opportunities, because I know a lot of people that I've spoken to are like, I just feel like I'm just so dedicated to the work and helping my community, that they feel like they need to be in big cities like New York and Chicago to have an impact. But there's a lot of opportunity for impact right here in Indianapolis. And so that is definitely something that I want to point out about our city. There's great educators, there's great talent already within Indianapolis too. And I know that's some of the thought process for folks too, is it's really important to be able to retain high quality teachers when launching a school. And I've had really great success being able to work with outstanding educators. So there's just so much beautiful opportunity, and the students are amazing here.
That is incredible. Thank you. I think this is a really exciting leadership opportunity for people working in the K-12 space in the US. And so I'm really excited to share this. Thank you for giving us so much insights into your experience on the fellowship. Do you have any other last things that you want to share with aspiring applicants?
I will say that the Mind Trust Fellowship was just an outstanding opportunity for me. I received so much support, so much encouragement. Even to this day, I have a mentor at the Mind Trust that we meet regularly. There's so many people that I can call on at any point and say, I need support with this, and they answer calls, texts. It's just the level of support is outstanding. It's a great opportunity. It was fun. It was exciting. And I would, people ask me if I could do it all over again, would I do it? Absolutely, no questions asked. And one of the beautiful things is they're very focused on making sure that the leaderships in the school represent the demographics of the students. And so I think their laser focus on and unapologetic commitment to advancing equity is a beautiful thing. And they have done that really well. And I've seen it continue to be elevated as important, the advancing equity for students. So beautiful mission that they live out.
Wonderful. I love it. If you want to meet some of the Mind Trust fellows like Keeanna and some of the others, Brandon House, and also meet the Mind Trust staff, some of the partnership leaders in the Indianapolis school district and community, and even local government, I would encourage all candidates to come to some of the upcoming happy hours and open houses that the Mind Trust is hosting. This is just a really incredible opportunity, and you'll be able to learn more at the links that are going to be posted below this video. So Keeanna, thank you so much for your time with me today. And thank you. Keep doing the hard work. We're excited to see you making such a great social impact before, during, and after your fellowship. Thanks so much, Keeanna.
Thank you.